Hey Blades fans, welcome back to Hertz Arena for another Florida Everblades pregame show. We're gearing up for round 3, game 2 of the Kelly Cup playoffs. Alongside Jake Maurice, I'm Ali Bellucci. Jake, a lot of good things to like about last night. 11 players on the score sheet, 6-2 win. What stood out to you about Everblades play?
Well, some of the things you just mentioned. I mean, 11 players on the score sheet getting contributions from everywhere in the lineup. That's amazing. The 5-on-5 play, excellent. Outscoring Newfoundland 5-1 at even strength. That's going to take you very far in the postseason. And I think overall, this is not just for this game last night, but for the overall season, the Blades have been great at overcoming adversity and not getting panicky in the big moments. Newfoundland ties the game early in the second period. 2 quick goals. Younger teams, more inexperienced teams, they might have panicked, faltered, made mistakes trying to get themselves the lead back. Florida was patient, they trusted their systems, and eventually they took their lead back in a big way with 3 goals late in the period.
We've talked about depth all season long, but it's specifically starting to stand out here now, post-regular season in the playoffs. Lines are clicking. What line is standing out to you amongst the others?
I'm going to say the John McCarron line. Blake Winicky, 2 goals yesterday. Oliver Chow, he brings a different element to it. It is amazing how that line has changed since he returned to the lineup back in Game 4 against South Carolina. It's just 3 players who you might not think would work together because they all play different styles of games, but it just meshes so well. They all fill a different role. They're all very smart on the ice. They all can predict where their line mates are going to go, and that allows them to create opportunities, and all 3 of them have shown in the playoffs they're all very capable of putting it in the back of the net.
Head coach Brad Ralph said a strong start, strong first 20 was really important coming into this one, not just for the first game, but for this entire series. 2 goals in the first. Newfoundland ended up tying it up. But what did that say about to you about the Everblades play and just how strong they came into this one?
They were ready to go. They were confident. They believed in what they were doing. It certainly helped that Blake Winicky was able to find himself some loose space inside the circle for that early strike. And Florida has shown throughout the playoffs, when they get the first goal in a game, the confidence it builds, the swagger they get, it's just almost impossible to really rally from that if you're the opponents. I can only think off the top of my head of one game where Florida scored the opening goal and lost. And in that game, South Carolina, it was back Game 4 of the opening round. They scored like a minute after, so it didn't really have the time to properly seep in. When Florida gets a lead and they allow it to kind of seep into their psyche, they become almost unbreakable, and that's amazing.
More special teams talk. They did okay on the PK, 1 for 2 on the PK, 0 for 6 on the man advantage. Jake, do you expect to see any changes? Like we've said the entire season, power play has been a struggle all year long, but it seems like they've been clicking recently. Maybe leading into this one, they're a little nervous, couldn't figure something out. 6 other goals on 5-on-5, so they seem to be doing all right, scoring goals on that side of things. But do you expect to see anything different, or maybe stick with the same game plan and just hope for different results?
Well, I mean, we did see a few instances where they had a chance. John Josling in particular on the double minor power play yesterday. Wide open net 9 times out of 10. He nails that. Problem was that was time number 10.
Right.
So there's going to be a little bit of that where you just kind of have to shake off the jitters. But yeah, you do have to get the power play right. It's a different looking penalty kill from Newfoundland compared to Jacksonville last series. So the Everblades will make adjustments based on that with a video. And yeah, it's just really important that the power play gets rolling because we've seen how much of a factor it's been for Florida in the last 2 series. It's a big reason that they're here right now, the improved power play from the regular season. You don't want to allow that to slip into a lull, particularly against a very strong team like Newfoundland. Even though the Everblades, they were the better team last night for sure, and it shows in the scoreboard. Newfoundland was able to rally quickly in that game to tie it up early in the second period, so you got to be ready for that. And sometimes you'll need a power play goal to do that.
Defensively, Florida's blue line kept Newfoundland to 19 shots in 3 periods. One of the best showings we've seen all season long, specifically post-regular season. What was setting Florida's blue line apart, putting them in those spots to really keep them shut down offensively?
Smart plays inside your own zone, good puck control, just well-executed breakouts, all the important little details that you need to take care of in your own end. Florida did that last night. It starts with the top pairing, Ben Masella and Stefan LeBlanc. Masella, of course, had the goal and the assist in yesterday's game, which is great, but he did so much else that doesn't show up on the score sheet that leads the way, and it brings the rest of the defense core up with them. We've talked about the importance of the line chemistry earlier. It's the exact same on the defensive end. The pairings, except for one game, have been the exact same throughout this entire playoffs, and seems that the coaching staff has really found the mix that works on the back end, and it showed up big last night.
More pregame show magic. Jake Lambden came through for me late. MD Netter got himself on the score sheet. How'd you do?
Sean Josling, he had a couple opportunities, but I mean, he's been at the top 3 in ECHL goal scoring all throughout the playoffs. He had a couple chances, but even if he doesn't bury them every night, you can just rely that.
Can't count on him every
you
game,
can't-
right?
Well, you can't be forced
Right.
to count on him every game. Other guys stepped up in a big way, including like a guy like Will Calverley, who got
Yep.
his first to the postseason,
Yep.
Ben Masella as well. So it was great to see that, and it would be kind of nice to see some of those guys get goals going forward, guys looking for their first of the postseason. So I'm going to go with Cam Darcy as my player of the game
Solid
tonight.
choice.
He's had some helpers throughout the last few games. That Irvine Coper Darcy line seems
Yep.
to be getting itself into a bit of a rhythm. Would love to see Darcy finally get himself on the goal scoring side of things.
I'm going to go Oliver Chow. I think he's laid low a little bit here. I think he's going to come out with a little fire tomorrow and come out swinging maybe. 3 keys a
Yeah.
game for game 2. What do you got?
Well, we talked about special teams, particularly the power play.
Yep.
Got to have an improvement on that. 0 for 6, that can get you into trouble.
Yep.
Start, we talked about that for sure. Newfoundland, unhappy with this game, to say
Very,
the
very
least,
unhappy.
from game 1. So they are going to be coming out for this game much improved with a purpose. Florida's got to be ready for that. We saw what they did in the second period. They're going to be looking to do that in the first to start things off tonight. And then I think you always got to make sure that you're clearing out the front of your net. Cam Johnson had a couple of scrambly plays in front of him. He was able to handle it well. The defense as well was able to get those pucks away before the Growlers could really get in and look for a greasy goal.
Yep.
Got to keep doing that again tonight.
All right, Blades fans, get loud for game 2. This is going to be a fun one. Warm-ups and puck drop are up next.